All right, tell us, what is Solid Starts? You guys have a following of 3 million people.
Yeah, we're an online company that is dedicated to helping people change the way they feed their babies and children. So we provide tons of education and content on how to safely do just that, how to introduce solids to your babies, how to serve the foods that you love to your infant from the start of starting
Mhm.
solids, and then how to feed your baby and toddler in a way that feels joyful to your family.
Oh, yeah. When should parents actually start, thinking about doing solids?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually, babies are ready to start solids around 6 months old. We're looking for a set of readiness signs that show us that they are developmentally ready to handle the task of learning to chew foods and eat new foods, because previous to that, they are just drinking their meals through breast milk or formula. So, around 6 months old, most babies can start to sit up with pretty good support. Doesn't mean they have to sit perfectly, but they need to have some stability in their body where they can keep their chest up and their head up, and they need to be able to reach out and grab food or a spoon and bring it to their mouth. And we want them to be interested. And most of the time, when you have a really stable trunk and you can reach out and grab things, that interest follows, and babies are ready to get in there and join the meal with you.
Awesome. Carrie, I feel like right now a lot of parents are ditching the baby food aisle and deciding to make their own baby food. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we absolutely love the idea that babies can eat pretty much anything that we eat with a little bit of modification. So we love the idea that people are using their own food or foods that are important to them and their family and their culture, and using those as the starts of solids rather than looking to the store to tell us what we should be feeding our children.
Exactly. Carrie, I feel like this may be a question that you get a lot from parents. Is store-bought food any different from food made at home?
Yeah, I mean, store-bought food is prepared in, usually a large kitchen, a large warehouse, and in a way that is just fine. There's nothing wrong with store-bought food. I think a lot of parents worry that somehow that's significantly inferior to other foods, and the reality is, food is food. We, as working parents, sometimes have to just make do with what we can access at the moment. So there's nothing wrong with store-bought baby foods. Those are designed to be safe and to serve to a child. But what we have found is that there are actually only a small number of ingredients in most of these store-bought foods. So rather than having that wide variety of foods and flavors that we tend to experience at home, a lot of store-bought baby foods have kind of three main ingredients. They have apples, they have bananas. They have something that makes them kind of sweet, rather than, even if the main ingredient is like supposedly a vegetable, spinach or peas or something like that, they tend to have a sweet flavor that underpins them to encourage the baby to eat them. So we actually end up with a lot less variety in what you're serving to baby when you're going with store-bought foods than when you serve foods made at home, generally speaking. But again, there's plenty of store-bought foods out there, and now many, many different companies that make baby foods with a wide variety of.
Is there anything that parents should avoid, like rice?
No, we actually love the idea that all foods, there's just pretty much across the board, all foods and all cultures can be made safe for baby. There are such small numbers of foods that we truly recommend avoiding. And one of them is honey, just because honey has a higher than average risk of carrying a foodborne illness called botulism, which can be very unsafe for young babies. We also recommend sort of like some categories of food that you are careful with babies. We recommend avoiding um, raw meats, raw fish, raw dairy, raw poultry, things like that, because again, it can carry foodborne illness that can have an oversized impact on babies. So we just avoid. But other than that, all foods, rice, which is one of those foods that people worry has uh, toxins or heavy metals in it,
Mhm.
those foods can all be prepared safely for baby. And as long as we're serving variety, so you have lots of different food options in there, not just one ingredient all the time, we're actually giving baby the best start possible.